My name is James. This is my wife Nadine. We live in the Algarve region of Portugal, specifically up in the mountains behind Monchique. And we live on a place we call Living Harmony Farms. It's a 12.5 hectare plot of land with everything we need to live sustainably off-grid. Off-grid for us means to be independent of all the systems that we typically rely on. We have our own water system, we generate our own electricity. The only thing that we actually ever pay a bill for is some internet. We've got Starlink service, and that's the only bill we pay. So we're not beholden to corporations, and that's more or less what, that's the basis of our belief here.
Before arriving here, we came from Mexico. We had been living in Mexico for 2 years. And knowing that we were coming to this area and we wanted to live in this area, we were looking online and we saw this property. And the first picture in the listing for this property was just going over the river, the little creek. And that was a huge confirmation for us, or a huge just like, wow, that's special, because we wanted we felt that priority was getting a piece of land, living on a piece of land that had 2 sources of water, not just one. And so that was a big, 2 sources of water. And so when we came the first day, it was kind of rainy, and there was no bridge. So there was a little footbridge, and we had to walk over this footbridge. It was very higgledy. It was quite interesting. And we walked up the mountain, we saw all of this, walked up the mountain, we were up almost all the way up top, and there was a double rainbow. And I just said to James, it's a sign.
It's a
sign. And I think from the first day I was in love. We were in love with this land. We just felt really that it was calling us and asking us to come and tend it. So from there, when we did decide to move forward with the purchase, the previous owners, we spoke to them because we had the caravan and we didn't have a place to put the caravan. And we asked them if we could come and live here while the paperwork was being done, and we did. So we actually lived here a full month before the caravan, or before we purchased it. So, and during that time, it was January, it was cold, it was rainy, we had some frost like we did this morning, and we were just elated. We were just on a cloud.
We planted 300
so
trees on the property
right.
before we actually signed the deed. So we had a team of friends that we'd made very quickly, and a fellow that was really good at restoring land with native plants, and so we did a bit of that, and some madroño and fruit trees, nut trees, just more trees than you can imagine were planted in one day than I could ever.
2 days. These have been 2 days,
right,
but yeah,
right.
over 300 trees. And I remember in the beginning too, like the initial garden was just on the other side of this creek here, and I knew that's where I wanted the garden to be. And this was already January, so I knew I wanted to have the garlic already planted, and I wanted to make all these raised beds. There were going to be like 26, I think, raised beds. I had the plan all made up and the measurements and everything. And so I went with a shovel, a little hand shovel, and I started weeding because it was just all solid weeds. And I'd work and work and work and work hours, and then I'd look to the end and it'd be like, oh, don't look, because it was 60 meters of weeding to do. And eventually we got people to help with the task because it was way too much. I would still be doing it myself.
We've had so much great help on the property ever since we've been here. The people have been amazing. The talents that have come to us from different sources, it's been, I'd say, miraculous. Ever since we've been here, the right people, the resources, everything just shows up because we want it. We have this intention that we move towards, and we move towards it with passion, and all of a sudden things just fall together for the weirdest reasons that you would never even believe. We chose to, I guess when we first got on the land, first and foremost, we felt that access was key. the driveway was in rough shape. It was rain rutted. It was difficult to traverse. We knew that trucks that were going to be delivering construction materials would not be able to get down there. So we had to make sure that our access was well constructed and maintained. So we put in a concrete area on the steeper parts of the driveway, plus we put in a bridge over the creek, and that allowed us to access, you know, the 190% of the property. The decisions we made in terms of what infrastructure to develop first was more decided by immediate needs, I think, more than anything. We knew that we didn't need the house right away. We have a caravan we've been living in for 3 years. We attacked the barn first because we felt that all the construction and repairs that were going to be needed a base of a shop to, you know, house tools and to perform repairs. So we decided to create the shop first, which also ended up being our music room and currently where we sleep at night. So after I think a full year in the caravan, tearing the living room apart, putting it into a bedroom, back to a living room, back to a bedroom, I just got really tired of doing that. So we decided to sleep up in the barn, and we joked that we have a very long, drafty walk up to the barn, or a drafty hall to the barn.
To our bedroom.
To our bedroom, yeah. Everything else, the power, of course, we needed to install the solar system, the water system, everything to thrive in the short term. That had to be put in place first. The next steps will include a bodega, a place for food storage. This is going to be prior to us constructing the house. It will be a lovely day when we finish the house. We'll be able to revel in some conveniences we haven't had for a long time, but at the moment we're doing just fine. You know, we're living a simple life, and we make light of the times when we'd really like to have a bath and don't have it, and we're doing okay. Yeah.
Living off grid for me means being able to choose the food that I grow and the food that we eat. It means that I'm able to live the life that I want to live without anyone telling me, oh, you can't do this or you can't do that. There are some restrictions, there are some things that we still need to behold to. And in general, it's living a life connected to the earth and to the cycles of the earth. And that to me is magic. It's alchemy. Look out over the garden during the day and go, okay, well, what's for lunch? What's for dinner? And choosing what we're going to eat according to the season of the year.
And what's ripe. And
what's ripe, according to what our mother is providing for us in those months. And I truly believe that that's a reflection of what our body needs. If in the spring the land is growing bitter greens, it's because our body needs bitter greens to cleanse from the heavier foods that we've been eating over the winter and prepare us for our summer nutrition. And it's really quite wonderful just to be able to eat what's in season. You go to a supermarket and you can buy anything. You can buy a pineapple from whatever place in the world, and I don't buy those things anymore because we have everything we need here.
the flip side of that, of course, is everybody's belief that the food in stores are nutritional. They are what people need to sustain themselves, when in fact there's so much toxicity in our food supply generally that people are not aware of for the most part, and in some cases voluntarily ignore the knowledge that they have that yes, it is toxic, but this is what we have, and we don't have to bow down to that. We know what's in our soil, we know what's in the food, and we nourish our bodies in the best possible way that we can.
how much effort it takes to grow our own food and to nourish us. I, for me, it takes a lot. I know other people that do it differently and it's less work. I really like to grow everything from seed. I don't buy the seedlings already pre-started from the market or from a store. I believe saving the seeds is really important because then the seeds are accustomed, they're a condition to the land and to the climate. And so it's a lot of work because I also go to great details. If I find out that I can make something, I'll never buy it. Like I make my own soap. For me, it's a full-time job, but it's not a job. For me, it's a full-time lifestyle. It's lifestyle. So I don't even think of it. Rarely does it feel like work to me. Sometimes it can be hard, and to me, it's a lifestyle. And so it's not like, well, how many hours do I need to put in to feed us? It's like, no, it's just how much energy do I have and how much more can I do to make this even better? Like I make our own pasta. I don't even buy pasta. If I could grow rice, I'd grow rice. But apparently you used to be able to on this land, but we don't get enough rain anymore.
We eventually evolved a vision wherein we would have a community of people on the land. And we've had various success with that. Currently, there's only one fellow living on the land with us, but we were up to 9.
This was 7 plus us, 9. Yeah.
9 people, and there's pitfalls to that. You know, it's not for everybody. You have to say that. People don't share the exact vision that we have, and that's okay. You know, we went into this with our eyes wide open, knowing that you know, people have different values. So we pursue what we believe to be in our best interests, and if it conflicts with other people who have chosen to try living here with us, you know, we give everybody their space. If they choose to move on because of something that's not right for them, then, you know, so be it. We don't want to force anything on anybody. So, but the rewards can be very, very great. I mean, we share the bounty on the property. You know, everybody gets electricity and water. You know, clean water and internet, of course, and beyond that, they're able to do with their time what they want to do, aside from a small commitment to help the farm proceed and move forward. Nadine works full-time. She needs a fair bit of help in the gardens, and the people that are here are hopefully willing to help with that on a regular basis. I suppose for me, this lifestyle arose, it grew in me when I was in my late teens, I think. I just knew something was wrong. Something was amiss in society. The values that people have, you know, I always say, I don't characterize myself as a consumer, and I don't think anybody should. I mean, you know, to know people that have $300 jeans, and, you know, this is just not me. These are not decisions that I would ever want to make. Yeah, let's put clothes on our body and do what we need to do to thrive in life. However, the consumerist attitude is really what I wanted to be away from, and this land provides us that opportunity. We're able to live without the pretense of society and the false values, the illusion of prosperity when everybody's in debt. You know, we owe nothing, and we have everything. So life is good.
My advice for anyone who has a desire, a passion to live off grid, to live off the land, is follow your heart. Always follow your heart. Don't listen to the outside voices that it's not possible. I intended this life for myself, and then James and I intended this life for ourselves for years before we manifested and before we're really living it to the extent that we're living it now. So I would encourage anyone, if you've got it in your heart to live this life or whatever life you want to live, intend it, believe it, trust, and follow your heart. Follow your heart.
And don't see anything as a failure, because
Mm-hmm.
failure is just the next step to
Yeah.
success. People so often will quit a project or the pursuit of something they feel they desire at the first hint of what would be construed as failure, and that is such an illusion. It's just another illusion. We all take steps. Some are successful, some are not, but they just teach you the right way to go, and off you go. And a lot of people might be afraid to take these kind of steps. They might be afraid that they don't have what it takes to live this kind of lifestyle. In honesty, I would say it's simple, and yet it's hard work, but it's simple. It's not complex. The knowledge is out there for people. You know, you go back to the basics, and if you stick to those values, then you can't go wrong. And yeah, fear is the opposite of love. Just love what you're doing and move towards it. And this life can be yours, or whatever life you choose.
Well, and the beautiful thing too is when you start doing it, you'll discover a community of people that are out there doing it as well. And you'll just complement one another, and you'll find, you know, what you lack they have, what you have they need, and you build relationships and community, and that's a big, huge part of living this lifestyle is the community that
Yeah.
surrounds you, and being connected to the community around you. That's essential. That's essential. And just speaking a little bit into what James mentioned, the reason, one of the catalysts that, one of the huge catalysts, and actually kind of the big catalyst that worked to get us here, was I had a car incident. I don't call it an accident because I don't believe in accidents. And had that not happened, we'd still be in Canada, most likely. Maybe not, but it was what really triggered this whole journey to get us where we are now. So I'd also encourage people to not look at things in their lives as something negative or a barrier, because often it's those things that are actually part of your path to get you to where you want to go.
The
At least
maybe
that's
thing.
been my the maybe
The maybe
thing.
thing, yeah.
At least that's been our experience.